Hi year 8s, so in this instructional video we are going to be looking at tacking, and it goes with this page of your year 8 skills booklet. So to do this task you will need some fabric scissors, you will need a piece of scrap material, okay, that has the star with 8 edges drawn onto it, okay, you will need a hand sewing needle, alright, and you will need some coloured thread. Alright, so the difference today is that we are hand sewing. So we are using a hand sewing needle, alright, not a pin. Okay, so the pin, as you can see, has the coloured head at the top, okay, and it has the pointy end. Alright, today we are using a hand sewing needle which has a little hole right at the top of the needle up here. Okay, that's where your thread will go through. And it also has the sharp end down there. So you will need about an arm's length of thread. So measure out an arm's length of thread and chop. Okay, you will then need to put the thread through the needle, okay, through the end of the needle. So it can be a bit tricky, so just take your time and make sure that if it's got a fray on the end, you use your scissors and you cut it off nice and clean. Alright, so I've put that through the end of the needle and I'm now going to bring these two ends together. Alright, and I will grab them and I will tie some knots, or a knot at the end, and that will hold it in place and stop the thread from going all the way through our fabric. We're going to start from the center and work our way out. Alright, so in your instructions you are going to be tacking 2 pieces of fabric together, but for this purpose I'm just showing you the technique of tacking and staying on a straight line. Okay, so tacking is used instead of pinning as a more secure way of holding 2 pieces of fabric together. Okay, so you might use this when you're making your boxer shorts. So you will tack a hem together, you'll tack a seam together, okay, and then the idea is that after you have used the machine and actually sewn that part, this stitch, so this tacking that you're doing now, should be big enough and easy enough that you can grab some scissors, cut and pull it out, and it is no longer there. So for that reason we always start from the good side of our fabric. Okay, we always start from the good side and we're going to put the needle in through the good side and down underneath. Okay, the knot at the end should hold in place and stop the little end of the fabric from running through. So it's just sitting there and that is fine. Okay, so you want your tacking stitches to be about 1 centimeter long, so not too big, but small enough that it will still hold together 2 pieces of fabric. So I have now got my needle and my thread on the wrong side of the fabric. It's at the bottom and I want to bring it up to the top. So I like to actually hold my fabric and just take my time finding the right place for the needle to come through. So it comes up through the bottom and out through the top, and you pull the thread tight. Okay, and then we are going to go down about 1 centimeter and we're going to go down through the good side, down into the bottom side, and pull tight, and we now have our first tacking stitch right there. Okay, and if I then keep going up through the good side again, so you just need to make sure that you're keeping a centimeter long stitch, being careful of your fingers that you don't prick it when the needle is coming back up, and not being too rough that you're going to pull it out. Okay, so come back up and I'm going back down through to the bottom, pulling the stitch tight. So I now have 2 tack stitches there. Some other people prefer to do it a different way, very similar to how you would put pins in fabric. So I've got my needle and my thread up the top of my fabric here, and some people prefer putting the needle through and back out to the top, just like this. So see how the needle's gone through and straight back out, just like a pin, and continue to pull. And continue to pull all the way through to keep the stitches. Alright, so it's up to you how you would like to do it, but there's lots of different ways. I've have now made it to the end of my line, all right? So we don't want to go any further, and I've tacked along one whole line. So now we need to secure the thread, all right? So mine is on the back of my fabric. It doesn't really matter where, but with your hand needle, you are going to go in and straight back out, okay? So if you can see there, the needle has gone in and then it has gone straight back out, okay? So we're going to do it only once because we just want to make sure that it is still secure, but it doesn't need to be that secure that we actually struggle to get it out at the end. So it's going to go in and out and through. So watch what happens. I'm not going to pull the needle all the way through and pull the thread tight. I'm going to keep pulling, 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 pulling. But see how I've got a little loop up the top here of thread? I'm then going to put my needle through this loop and pull it to make a little knot at the end. So it's gone 1, 2, and through. Okay, and then that should be your tacking sample done. You're going to cut it, leave a little tag on the end there, it doesn't really matter, okay, and then that makes it easier for you at the end when you have finished using the machine to simply cut and pull this tacking out. So you see how my stitches are about 1 centimetre in length on both sides, okay, and I have stayed on the line. So you now need to go through and you need to complete all 8 sides of it, and by the end of tacking all 8 sides of the star, okay, you should be feeling pretty confident in tacking, okay? So remember to start from the middle and work your way out, and then once you are done, stick your sample on your page in your skills booklet and you can move on to the next one.